Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
We did this.
It's happening.
Brilliant. Hello there.
Hello,
We've
Mikey.
got Ben Marshall on the back of the bus sessions. #1, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Ben, I'm going to be honest with you, mate.
Right.
This isn't the first one I've done,
Is it not?
but it's going to be the
We
first one I
discussed this
bring out.
slightly. Yeah, we discussed this a bit before we started.
Yeah.
There's been some false attempts, aren't there?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, mate.
Yeah.
I've done it 4 times now. We've had Herbie Rowley on. We've had Charlie Juster on, my friend Nick McCann, and I tried one out with Chrissy. And all 4 of them, it wasn't always the vocals and that. It was the visual, and I really want to turn these into like a visual thing.
Yeah.
So I'd just go back in, we're all excited. Yeah, I've just had a great chat. It's all worked. Go to put stuff on, and then that's it. It's
Yeah.
just there was banding. That's a technical term for the film, but you get like these like just shutter speed things on it. Another technical term. And I just keep going in. One of them I put on slow motion. That wasn't syncing
I
up,
think
was
that'd
it?
be quite good. Just like make the whole thing slow mo.
Ben,
A really deep
how-
podcast. How'd
So-
you get into music, Ben?
So many mistakes. So this one, we've made sure everything is as it seems. We've got so many trial runs from this. So
Yeah.
you say you learn from your mistakes, but it took me 4. But this is the one.
I'm
Okay?
feeling really responsible for this audio now
Yeah.
as well. Like,
Mate,
it's
you're
on
my
me if
eagle.
this goes right. I've got the laptop looking at me.
Eagle eye for this. So yeah, thing for you, man. You're my mixing and mastering man. I keep coming to you because I love what you do.
Thank you.
Let's talk about them failures.
Okay.
Have you had anything like that happen or emerge? Like,
Loads. Thankfully, a lot less nowadays. But always, it's normally when you buy a new bit of gear or, you're in a new studio or something. Like, something always goes wrong, particularly in, like, audio. If you're, like, a live sound man, like, nothing ever just goes smoothly. Like, there's always got to be a fault. But you normally learn from them. But then it's when you're relaxed, you sort of go wrong. I think most of the job is, like, being switched on and staying calm and thinking, like, oh, shit, how do I fix this? You know what I mean? Because then mistakes are always going to happen. Like, accidents happen. It's kind of how you react to them, I
that's
think.
pretty interesting, man, actually, because I think that was the one time I made another really big error and just didn't take my SD card somewhere. I was being really kind of smug about it because
Yeah.
I always sometimes forget a little thing and I get a bit annoyed at myself. And this time I was like, I'm gonna make sure I get everything ready. And then I really relaxed myself because it's all ready, it's all cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wasn't really thinking. I just
It's when
picked
you relax,
everything
yeah,
up. I
that's
just
it.
chucked it in the car. I was like, I'm all cool now. Like, let's get there. Got there, and then on it, like, the sweats hit me as soon as I didn't see my SD cards in there and stuff.
Yeah.
It is funny, man, because I send all my stuff over to you. You're a massive part of my album, my things that I enjoy the most. And I send it to a mythical figure, really, you are to
Yeah.
me. The mixing and mastering man.
I like that.
I tell people about you. I say, I love this guy. He works for me. Send them off to you, like for mixing and mastering. I don't even know what that means, really. That's why you're a mythical figure. So, if you could give me a bit of a brief rundown of like what you do when I send you some tracks and that, because I want the technical terms or anything.
So it's a bit of everything, really. Like, a lot of the stuff I do, I have all sorts of different projects, but a lot of them I'll record them from scratch. So I'll have like an artist or a band come in, and I'll literally be in charge of the process all the way through. So I'll be recording them, like giving them advice on how to play, like giving them which guitar they might use or whatever, drums, everything else. So that's one side of it. But with you, it's quite cool. It's a nice sort of different project for me from a lot of the stuff I normally do. You have your beat and stuff, which you've got for someone else, which sounds awesome.
Giuseppe.
You've taken all the time to layer them all nice, all your vocals, and you just send it and sort of give me free reign and say, mix this and make it sound cool. And I like how you label things as well, because you'll be like, stupid vocal or make this sound like Crash Bandicoot or something. Yeah. And then for me, it's just a case of I get your vocals nice where I want them and where I think you'll like them. Pick bits I think are cool, and I quite like doing stuff if you repeat a line for a reason or whatever in one of your pieces. I quite like doing something weird with that line, like I'll make it go over to one ear or the other or something like that, just to like stand out. Like that's the fun bit, really.
On a drive home recently, I've really noticed them bits that you've been doing. I was like re-listening to the album or things like that, And just that, it's them subtleties that make a track for me.
Yeah.
And like, you're so good at finding them moments.
I quite like, it's great for me, man. Like, I love listening to stuff that I've not listened to. And whilst I've got to have a technical brain, I always try and think like an audience. So I listen to it first time, like I'm listening to your song on the radio or whatever. And if a line stands out to me, I'm like, oh, I should really make that stand out. And it gives you an idea straight away. Like, oh, he said that, and he said something about being in space in that line or something. And you're like, oh, shit, I can make that sound like it's in space. And, you know, it's fun, but you have that with everything. Like, every bit of, you do a lot of genres and people think they're automatically different. But it's really that main message of a song I like to pick up on and like get inspired by, and how that makes me want to treat it really when I'm mixing it.
Are there many people in your industry that don't actually perform themselves or anything like that?
I think there is. Like, a lot of people have different reasons for getting into it. Like, I've always played in bands and stuff.
Yeah.
And I also love the technical side, so I'm a bit of a nerd for that.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, like, so I know some people that would like love to play an instrument, but they're not great at it or whatever, and they'd really just get off on helping people capture their performances. And they're different skill sets, but I think a lot of it intertwines with each other, really.
Definitely intertwines. I do think you having the musicality and the knowledge of a performer does help you stand out. I think that works for you.
I can't imagine doing it if I wasn't a musician. There's a lot of really successful people that do an amazing job, but for me, like, the music's the driving factor, like not the tech stuff, really.
How's that all going at the minute?
Yeah, good, man. I mean, I'm
I asked what the name of your band was to my missus, and she said it. She got it wrong. It was
It's a
like
stupid name.
She called it like the Red Arse Society.
The Red Arse Society.
I don't know what. I like. No, they're not. And like every time I try and say your band's name, and it's the Fine Arts Society.
I think we need to change it, like, because all the people that know us just call us TFAS. And I was thinking last night after I had a few beers, I was like, should we just change the name so it just reads like TFAS?
That
like,
works.
Yeah,
that
it would.
That vibes to me. But I think you've
came up with
established
a long
name
time
now.
ago when we were like 15. Like, the
Fine
former
Arts
bass player
Society.
thought it was a cool name. And we were like, yeah, let's run with it. And names are like the hardest thing about being in a band. Nothing else is difficult. How'd you come up with a name? Like, it's solid.
You all get together. I mean, I've never been in a band, but I honestly have heard stories of people falling out and breaking up over like changing the name or like coming up with a name, and it's like we've got all these tracks, so we're so ready, and then it's like, what should we call ourselves? And it's just get out of here.
Yeah. I also think, though, to be fair, you know, every famous band, like, if they weren't famous, their band names would be rubbish. Like, you think of some famous bands, like someone like old school, like Thin Lizzy or whatever, like, that's a terrible name until you get famous, and then it's a mint name because you're famous and you're that band.
And to be honest, I do like the stories of bands' names. And how did that come about? How did you just come about? It was
I think
literally just that.
this bass player had a list of like 10 names he'd got off somewhere, and we just liked it. We were just like, oh. And it's kind of cool over time because, like, it's a bit like ironic because we're kind of like, we're thinking like it's not a fine art, just like do it, just get stuck in, like DIY, like attitude. But we've got quite a pretentious name, but it's not really meant to be like that. But you know, it is what it is.
When you heard it as well from the bass player, was it one of them? Did it sit with you here? Did you go, yeah?
I honestly don't think so. I'd like to say it was deeper than that, but we were just like, nah, it's a name, like, crack on.
I say in one of my recent piece of music or poems, I don't know what to call them now, but and you're probably going to hear it soon because you'll be mixing and mastering it. But it's a line. It says, "I named myself after a moment of madness and a decade of depression," and it really come true. Like, I remember, I was thinking of so many names, and then when I don't even honestly know where it came from, but I just said Rhythmical Mike, and it did sit here. I was like, rhythmical, and it just like
some stuff just comes, doesn't it?
It just felt good when I said it, and that was it. I was like, nah, I had so many people mention really good ideas for names, like Open Mic, you know, like open and open. Oh, there's so many ideas. I was like, yeah, that's cool, but
sometimes it just happens. To be fair, like, you know, them live sessions I do, so I do pin-up session videos with them. Like, we do them in like a converted space in a warehouse, and we were thinking of all these different names. We were like, oh, the fridge sessions, and then we're going to call it the Sunday sessions because it's normally on a Sunday, and that's taken by like 1,000 people. And then literally my girlfriend had done a wicked pin-up girl design on the wall, and we'd been looking at it the whole time and couldn't think of a name, and then we were just like, pin-up sessions, literally it's there, like, so stuff just sits sometimes, doesn't it? And then you realise it just takes a while to come through sometimes.
It's such an amazing vision and thing you've created with the pin-up sessions as well. I've been really looking back through a lot of them at the minute, and you've had some amazing people on there.
Yeah.
But the vision, the sound, everything you're creating is just perfect.
Oh, cheers, man. Thank you.
How did that all start up? where you going with it?
Yeah.
Like,
So basically, like a bit like we're saying, making mistakes and learning through things. Like me and Matt mainly, and a lad called Chris and Rob also, who are like just as big a part of it as me. Like I organise it, but they're the ones that make it look awesome. And when I was starting trying to branch out and work with more people and record people, when I was pretty new at it a few years ago, I kind of, truth be told, like I wanted something to hide behind a bit, because if you just get someone in to record them and their recordings aren't very good, like, oh no, what's happening there? So our whole thing was like, Matt had started shooting with his cameras, or our mate Chris, and I just thought, why don't we just combine it? And we wanted to meet a load more people, really. Like we felt a bit like isolated, and we wanted to just branch out. And we thought, well, we're still practicing a bit, so if we just get like some bands in we think are cool, and we'll say it's free, and we'll give them a video, and we were still trying to convert this space a bit and make it a bit less weird. So it was mainly just like trying to learn our craft a bit, really, and since then it's just grown and grown. We've got a lot better at it, and then but what's still awesome about it is we just try and meet new people through it. So bands or artists that we just think haven't really got much visual stuff out there, we just approach them, or sometimes people approach us, and it's just an awesome way. We try and get like 3 artists in on a day, meet them all, try and make them meet each other, and just try and get a cool video, really. Like it's all totally live, so it's nice and relaxed, not too complicated. Like just playing in a room, really, and we're sticking mics on them.
cool. So have you had audiences there and things like that, or
We did one live gig like last year or sometime, which was awesome. We had like
was
100
it Pin
people.
Up Sessions Presents?
Yeah, Pin Up Presents, that was it. We did it at the Maypole in Derby.
Oh, awesome.
With the first 3 bands we had. So we had like Rex, Scribble Victory, and Pretty Babs, I think, who are all awesome bands.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
I think that's
Really
the key
cool.
behind it all. Like, we just have really good musicians come in. And like, if it's a really good musician, like, and you make them look cool and they're relaxed, they're going to give you a great performance, and people are going to watch it and enjoy it. But yeah, we did this live event. It went really well, and we're going to do some more of them at some point when we get round to it. But
It is such a treat going to these nights, though. That's why I like to hear that you've tried to have a few like live events.
Yeah.
Because Ben Mark Smith,
Yeah.
where I went to watch you recently play at, such an intimate gig, and honestly, especially as a spoken word artist, I just got deflated after a while going to so many gigs and people talking and little corners and
Yeah.
just noise and just trying to shout over that. It's quite terrifying, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes people with their guitar, I think they just go into themselves or go.
you've got a bit more noise, haven't you, to
Yeah,
sort of project
and
a bit, I guess.
As a species, we're kind of used to, like, when you've got an instrument going off and talking behind it, and even if it's like a bumbling of talking, it still works. It kind of like infuses and works. But with talking over talking,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. It's just
noise,
a,
isn't it?
a rabble. I like
Yeah.
on South Park, rabble, rabble, rabble. But going to these gigs and seeing them prop up all over the place and like trying to put on our own at
Yeah.
the minute that I'm really proud of. Ben's session, the pin-up sessions, they're just amazing spaces.
Yeah.
Was that something that spoke to you as well? You just wanted to put all the emphasis on just creating the music.
I think so.
focusing
To
on
be
the
honest,
artists?
like I think like you guys are doing that a lot more than us, and like particularly like Ben and stuff. Like say he puts on amazing gigs and these
Wicked
songwriter
guy.
sessions. Like the concept of people playing and like listening and be quiet, because I play in a covers band as well. Me and Matt do. And you do play a lot of gigs where you are very much background noise, and people like the songs they hear sometimes, and they'll sing along for a bit, and then you've forgotten about it again. And to play gigs like that and intimate things where like the audience really cares about music, like it's so uplifting, like you say, man, to be like listened to and people caring.
How
It's
does it
awesome.
feel to you as an artist then to play them gigs where you are background noise? Because you like, the thing I love about you guys is all of you just have nice heart, like really nice people that I want to associate myself with, and I've really noticed that from the off. But is it demoralizing, or do you actually just love creating a vibe for people to just?
I think I go through
Talking.
stages with it, to be honest. Like I've always done it a lot, 'cause I just love playing guitar, and like you can't always be playing your own stuff if you want to like earn some money and that. And sometimes I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? I just want to sit and go and play like blues music to myself, and no one care or whatever. But then other times, like people are dancing, and I'm getting like paid, and like if you can just cheer people up for a few hours. People genuinely, like, when they hear music, man, they go somewhere else, as you know. And, like, if someone can be having a drink and enjoy themselves because we're playing them a song and I get paid for that, like, that's a pretty lucky position to be in. If you'd have told, like, 14-year-old Ben in his bedroom, like, trying to learn some riffs, someone would pay me to go and play guitar and people clap.
Yeah,
like, my
yeah.
God. Like, yeah, so you got to put it in perspective. Like, it's not always enjoyable. Sometimes it is a bit more of a chore. than you might want it to be if you're doing your own original gig, but still playing music, man, and it's cool. I think it's worthwhile.
As a band, to pick your cover music and what you're going to perform, is that quite a collective decision, or is it one of you's like this is?
Yeah,
this
it's
and
normally Matt,
learn
because
this?
Matt's more motivated to learn stuff than me.
Okay.
So normally Matt would be like, I've learned it, Ben, and I'd be like, oh, okay, and I'll like figure out some chords or whatever. But it's always stuff we enjoy, like 9 times out of 10, unless it's one we hate. Like,
Do you have a rough amount of how many you've got in your head that you could just spring out?
Oh yeah, we've got loads. We have to play for like 3 hours basically.
Wow,
So
okay.
we've got like, I don't know, loads of songs.
can't
And me and Matt have
actually
been playing
comprehend
together
that.
since we're like 15, so we just know stuff. Like, we basically met trying to play Arctic Monkeys together in school and failing.
Oh, wicked,
We
man.
still can't play it properly now. But
I'll
we
be
just know loads
listening
of
to
stuff.
them later on now you've said
Yeah.
that, because I forgot they existed for a minute.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for bringing that back up.
Yeah, the old stuff's definitely better.
It's
you know.
quite interesting as artists, though, because you have your different passions, your different ways memorizing stuff. Some people are just incredible at, playing loads of multi-instruments and things like that. I find it fascinating. Like, people say to me, how the hell do you like remember all them words and do this and this? But I'm like, mate, you've all these chords in your head that you can just pick out of nowhere and do this, and I can't actually comprehend how you could like have 3 hours worth of material.
Yeah, I think that's what's so cool about doing anything artistic. Like, particularly because I work with a lot of musicians in the studio, or like you send me stuff. Like, everyone's got a different vibe and skill set, and some people might be really bad at something. Like, I'm really terrible at like reading tab. Like, my brain isn't hooked up that way. So tabs like little dots, obviously, and you figure out where your fingers go on a guitar. I can't do that, but like Matt's amazing at that. Or you get like a certain musician who can't sing great or whatever, but they're amazing with lyrics, and like everyone's just got their own little unique thing, which I think what keeps music so exciting for people.
So was music something throughout your life, like, or were you forced to get a guitar, right, you're doing that, that's your thing, or how did music come for you? Like,
I think, like, I don't know, I always go back to like the first CD. Like, my dad came back off holiday when we were really young, and he'd bought us like some knockoff copies. Like, my brother got a Red Hot Chili Peppers CD, and I got a
Sound.
Queen CD.
Wow.
And my dad's always like blasted classic rock, and my first like love of it, I watched like School of Rock, the film. If
so
you've
your
ever seen that.
first CD was a Queen CD?
Queen CD, yeah,
Wow.
like greatest hits. It was pretty epic.
I'm just letting that sit in now. It's amazing.
I think we might have had
epic.
like, I think our first ever CD was like Savage Garden.
Explains
which was pretty
everything.
bad. But yeah, man, like from that and like School of Rock film, I know it's like tragic,
oh,
like
mate.
guitars. I was well into it.
Completely.
But I told everyone, I was a bit of an idiot. I told everyone at like primary school I could play guitar before I could, because that's what you do if you're not a kid. And so I told all these people like I was sick at guitar. And
I did that with drums.
Yeah, I put my name down to like play an assembly on guitar, and I didn't
You
have
were
a
so
clue how
committed to this
I didn't
life.
have a clue how to play guitar, but I was wicked in the mirror. Like, I could hold a guitar, and like I learned how to dance around with a guitar before I could play a single chord.
Wow.
Like, that was my thing.
Hang on, what happened at this assembly?
Oh, I bailed. I didn't do it in the end. But yeah, just was like, oh, sorry, I forgot my guitar today. But you know how it is.
The shit you say as a kid.
Yeah, that's it. I just believed. I was like, I think my brother had started having lessons, and I thought like, oh, he can do it. It can't be that hard. Like, I'll be able to do it. And then I just couldn't, as you can imagine. But
I mean, not to go psychoanalysis and that, but it is funny, like, when we did that at school, and why a kid feels like, maybe it's just we wanted to be noticed and things like that. It must be something to do with, like, the want to be seen. If your brother's doing something and your mum and dad are giving, like, positive feedback and things, you're like, oh, that's how you get approval. That's how right. I'm a guitarist.
Yeah, I can do
I'm a
it. It's a
drummer.
thing to be cool. My whole thing when I started learning how to actually try and play guitar, I was like, if I can just learn one sick guitar solo
Bless
to
us,
play in
just
front of the
wanting to be
kids.
wanted
Yeah,
as-
I was like, if I could just play one sick solo, everyone would be like, wow, you're amazing. And I was like, and that would be my one party trick. Like, that would be me. Sorted. But then obviously you get addicted once you start and you keep learning and stuff. But yeah.
I'm a left-handed guitarist, and so we've always had right-hand guitars in the house, near the toilet. To be honest, we'll leave it
that's
at
a
that.
great
That's
place for a
the
guitar,
place to put it. But so when I'd go in the bathroom and the guitar would be there, I used to pick it up, and obviously you'd do that down, down, down.
Yeah,
down.
that's
I
the
was
first thing everyone learns.
This is sick. Okay, I can make a bit of something here. And I just taught myself. I'd be about 12, and I'd love the streets, as you probably can tell in some form of my music. But I decided I was going to sit, and I must have spent an hour on that toilet. And again, I was just doing it on a string. But I learned Dry Your Eyes, mate, doing
awesome.
it. It was like, dun, 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 dun. And I did that. And did you do music performances at school? Did they make you do?
Yeah.
And I went into school, and I was so excited because I learnt Dry Your Eyes, Mate. I knew how to do it, everything, but it was on one string.
Yeah.
And I got in, I sat down doing my music performance, did Dry Your Eyes, Mate. And the teacher, and he's just laughing at me. And that just honestly, I'm not blaming that on why I don't do instruments and things, but I do blame a little bit of it on there. Because I looked up, I was like, as a kid, all like an hour on a toilet, man. That's a duration.
Trying to learn to do this, you just go, oh.
Did this Dry Your Eyes, Mate. When he laughed at me, I was like, well, I don't think I want to do this music business, and it just put me off, to be honest.
Yeah, then you've come back round in your own way, though, haven't you?
I have come back round. It is interesting, but I really just saw music at school as like a mess about session, and they took me out of it eventually.
Yeah, I think the ironic thing with me, like, I genuinely did. We did music tech when you were like 15. And bearing in mind what I do now as a career or trying to do whatever, like, I just didn't pay any attention. I was just trying to learn Arctic Monkeys songs while they were showing us how to use mixing desks. And then later in life, I'm like, why didn't I listen at that point? But,
God, there's so many things that I look back at school. And I do think I went to a particularly not a very good school. I think a lot of my friends and family and people would agree with that. I won't say the name, but I really wish that have infused me with a little bit of that passion that I've got for writing. Have you been knocked back in school experiences where you're like, no, I don't fancy that?
I guess so, like, in some ways. I've always been, to be honest, I've been a bit nerdy at school. Like, I always kind of got my head down and got on with it. But, like, I know what you mean. If you're not, like, someone doesn't give you a passion for a subject, like, it's really difficult. And I think, I don't know if that's why I got so into music, because, like, I can't think of anything academically that really got me buzzing. But, like, I was having guitar lessons with this, like, really eccentric guy who was awesome, and he was like so passionate about guitar, and like he'd kind of let you lead the way. So if I had a song I liked something, I'd be like, oh, can I play that? And he'd be like, yeah, and they'd figure it out and show you, and you just get the bug like that, don't you? Whereas in school, I know they have to like teach a lot of people, don't they? But they don't necessarily get that passion for something across. They don't really let you lead it in a way. But
I think that is sometimes a cop-out. It's like, but they've got to go for 30 students at one time. And that's tricky. But I do believe you've got to make the lesson worthwhile for everyone in there. Yeah. And if you're teaching something that they're passionate to do, you won't get them messing about and things like that because they're eager and thirsty to do it. So if there's a different way of like making everyone engaged, there's ways of doing it.
Yeah, well, you know better than anyone, don't you? You're doing all this stuff in schools. It's what you're doing.
Yeah, I've got a real passion for it now. I never expected to have that because I just hated it. It was such a not a nice place for me to go to. Always sent home or to me nan's. He's kicked somebody else. Not that aggressive person, but it was like I was just basically just saying like, acknowledge me, I'm here, like dyslexia, all these like negative things I've been placed with, and now to go back in and be like, oh, this is it's changing. It's I think
it's awesome trying to teach
place
people
to be
stuff. I've not done a lot of it, but like if I ever have someone ask to like shadow me, I've done a few guitar lessons and stuff like that. Like I get such a buzz off like, I need to learn to shut up because, like, if I'm into something, I'm like, oh, and this is how you do this, and this is how you do it. And you just off on one, aren't you? Like, it's so rewarding to show people stuff if they're into it.
But then, like you say, that guitarist you had before, that teacher, to feel that buzz, if you're giving somebody that energy, they're really going to run with that.
Your passion's got to start at the person showing it. If they're not passionate about it, then,
And even if it's not that passion they're going for, like the guitar, just to see somebody with passion is the most important thing, because they can implement that in all parts of their life then. I think that's the most important thing. I go into schools now and do the assemblies, and I say, I'm not like, you're not witnessing somebody today go, just be a writer, everyone needs to write. You just got to have a passion. You're seeing somebody today that's discovered that thing and wants to run with that, but passion is everything to me. It's
all
like
bliss become blisters.
Yeah, oh baby, that's an inside one, folks. It's one of the new tracks Ben's doing.
Well, it just made me think, because I started looking at that last night and I was like, it's so true. Like, if you're into something, you run with it, don't you? And it doesn't feel like hard work if you're into something, even though you put everything into it.
I think it wasn't Confucius, and I really don't want to start hashing things up on the podcast, getting into philosophy. That
don't
I'm
ask
like,
me, I won't know.
But it was either Confucius or it might have been. Do you know Joseph Campbell?
No, I can't
okay, another
I'm very ignorant in such things.
Philosopher, but he said at the start of his career in philosophy, I just in my head now, because I'm like, it definitely wasn't these two. It was a different guy, and somebody's shouting it. If they've listened to this for 20-something minutes now, they're still in. You've got But they said follow your bliss. That was the saying. But then he, on his deathbed, and I always find it really fascinating, people's like deathbed sort of quotes, either on loads of morphine or they're actually trying to be really profound.
Yeah.
And he said he wished to change that all along. It when you find, not when you find your bliss, let it become bliss. I changed it to that, but he said pretty much on the lines of let your bliss be blisters or something. And it's really sat with me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you've got to find something you like, but also that's not the end of the story. It's a painful experience. You've got to find filmmaking, find mixing, mastering, sound, art, anything that you find. Know that you've not got the end goal there. There's a hardship with everything, but you're doing what you want to do is essentially it.
Nothing's easy, man. Anything that's worthwhile isn't easy. Like, you've got to have ups and downs, and like, you know, like you say, if you're into that thing, you're going to keep going and you're going to get better at it, but it's not plain sailing for a lot of people, is it?
Because it can be really demoralising if you do find that thing, and then on them days you do have bad days, which we all do within it, and then you're like, oh no, this was supposed to be that thing that saved me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, you're cool. Yeah. It's just you're having a bad day with that thing. It's okay to have them days.
Yeah.
Yeah, really important to acknowledge, especially in the art scene, because you do find so many people, and something I'm talking a lot about at the minute is trying to make it or trying to be at this certain stage and certain level. And it's like, can we all just take a minute out to just go, we're doing cool. We're making it now.
That's important, man.
This podcast has made no money yet. It might never, in 20 years of doing it, make any money. But I'm really enjoying just chatting to you. I'm really enjoying meeting somebody, engaging and having that moment. So
I always think with people's music and stuff, like, the reward's got to be like the music itself, the fact you're doing it, because it's so unlikely for 90% of people, well, more, 99% of people to ever like make it and be like a superstar or whatever. Like, you've got to just be, if you're passionate and you enjoy it, like, you're going to keep going back to it. And, you know, you can't hold yourself up to people's other barometers of success, because they're so unlikely, like, you know. And nobody gets that level of success as well by like trying. It's just luck most of the time.
Just having these discussions with you is so fascinating, because I will say about the first time we met, really, was that gig at, is it called the Greyhound? The Greyhound in Derby. That was pretty much like the start of my career in spoken word.
Yeah, you rapped to me outside. You said, you came up to me and Matt and you went, can I do some spoken word? And we were like, yeah, go for it. And it was good. It was good.
And I performed on the stage, didn't I?
No, I don't think you did when we saw you. Or we might have missed you. I don't think you were performing, but you were knocking about, trying to get on wine like everyone else.
Everywhere I went for about, I'm going to say, half a year at the start of it, I was going to raves, I was going to festivals, parties, and I'd just walk up to everybody and just be like, can I do your poem, mate?
Yeah.
And I needed that. I needed that part in my existence, because it pushed me into uncomfortable, scary positions, and I just told myself,
it doesn't get any scarier than that, just going up to a stranger and saying, can I tell you a poem?
I think I was probably on a drink at the time or something as well, but it really, I pushed myself in that on purpose, but genuinely, like, looking back to it, I am a little bit, to me to go up to somebody now and go, can I perform to you now, mate? And they're just having a fag outside, like, what? But
we all make mistakes like that.
I did need that experience.
Yeah, you've got to get out there, haven't you?
I think my ego was driving me with it as well. I felt like I'd been given this power or gift, and I was like, I'm going to show everybody it, show off.
I think the worst thing I ever did like that, it was years ago, but like, my band did a gig, and we just had like some special plectrums printed with like our logo and stuff. And I envisioned, like, we'd print these plectrums and you'd throw it and people would grab them, because that's what happens, isn't it? Like, and I was like, everybody, like, feel free to get a plectrum. And I just pinged one into the crowd and it just fell on the floor. And, like, no one was bothered about it. And I picked it up at the end of the gig and just put it back in my pocket, like, oh, mate.
It's like when somebody, like, I've been to a punk gig recently, and this didn't happen there, but I've been to a few punk gigs. And you know when they're not great, and they do a stage dive and nobody joins in,
one
and they're
catches
just
him.
like,
that's like the School of Rock thing again. That happens at the start of School of Rock. He stage dives and just everyone moves out of the way.
The School of Rock had so much built into it that we could have learned
deep,
from
man. It's deep.
so early on. But that gig as well, where were you on your journey at that time? Were you quite early in as well, or where were you?
I'm trying to remember. Like, we're a bit of a weird band, really, because we've gone through like loads of different phases. Like, for a period, we were like trying to sound like Enter Shikari and stuff, which was weird. Like, Matt was topless and like playing the guitar like a keyboard. Yeah, it was. We've been through a lot of stages.
You've tried it all.
But yeah, at that stage, I think
I wish you'd have kept that stage.
Yeah, there's always time to go back. But yeah, I think our thing was our drummer had moved away, and we just wanted to carry on doing it like as we keep doing, really. And we'd started doing like acoustic shows, and we were never really massively successful at it. But yeah, we were just playing acoustic guitar, and it was before we I'd say it was kind of in our middle evolution. We had an early stage where we had a certain sound, and it was quite punky, and like I sang, and then we moved on, and it got quite like Jamie T Streets-ish in the middle. And I think we were still in that stage, and then we've moved on again, and it's, I don't know, it's a bit more holistic, I guess, from where we're at. Because it changes, all your music and everything changes as you get older, doesn't it? Like, you're not going to be making the same stuff, really.
Do you do lyrics? Like, do you write?
Yeah, I'm awful at this, because I always really encourage everyone to put their stuff out, no matter what they think of it, and like that's the way you get better, and you'll feel really rewarded and stuff.
I agree.
And
I
have loads of songs and stuff, but I'm like, I'm just awful. I don't follow my own advice, man, because I've probably got like a little EP's worth, but I don't really like singing. It's not really my thing. Like, I can sing a bit, like I do backing vocals and stuff. Some people tell me I've got a nice voice, but it's not like my focus. So it's always stopped me, like, I don't know, pursuing it. But I've been thinking recently you should just go and play some open mics, Ben, because I'd love doing it. I think I would. Like,
I've not heard you sing it, then.
Yeah, I think I'd get a massive
Do
buzz. But I think I'd get a massive buzz if I'm not bothered about being successful or anything. I'd just like to play some songs, maybe, and like.
So is this a moment we're gonna like say you're gonna do a song
maybe
with
I
me?
should. Maybe I should.
One with me, though. Are we gonna do a song together? I want Ben. Would you just press that back on, ladies and gentlemen? The GH4 has just turned off itself.
Is it rolling again?
Not rolling again. I'm gonna stand up.
Okay.
Here we go.
We can chop this bit out anyway, can't we?
I'll chop everything. There we go. And
Record button.
record.
Is that going?
She's
Totally
back.
out of time.
GH4 is back. So where were we there? Sorry, Ben.
Something about me playing songs, whatever.
Talking
What's
talking about you on this podcast. Did you not know what this was? This is a promotional tour. Sorry, where were we?
Well, I don't know. What did I say? I said I might play some open mics or something and try to do more.
I said just as it was going off, I said I want to do a track with you, Ben.
We should do it, man.
That's shake on it.
Let's do it.
We've just shaked on it. It's
Shook on.
happening. You're gonna see that in a couple of years' time now, folks.
Yeah, the thing is, I love doing all that. Obviously, as like producer and in bands and stuff, I'm often like the other guy who like adds little ideas in, or I'm like, oh, you should try that. But then I'm quite bad at following my own ideas through sometimes, and I have a lot of stuff that I shelve, which is the worst. I tell everyone, don't shelve it, just put it out.
Yeah,
I'm the worst person
couldn't
following
agree
that
more,
advice.
man. Because I do think it's really nice to just see little timelines and evolutions of yourself. Like, if you're really precious about this one thing and that's the best thing you put out, bam. I think it's good to set a bar.
Yeah.
And don't just put anything out all the time forever, because I know people will be listening to this if they have heard my stuff, and they'll be like, oh, you could have refined this and this from my older stuff or my videos. But I'm really proud of them little bookmarks.
Good to look back into it. And like, I had a really good lecturer who taught me like mastering at uni called JP. He's like an amazing master engineer, and he was like so professional. But he said, like, if you do a mix or whatever, or you do a piece of music, like, get it out there, do it, and then move on and do better. Like, don't just stew over one thing forever trying to make it perfect and beating yourself up about it. Like, get it to the best you can make it at that time, get it out, move on and do better. Again, you can always do better the next time. And like, I think that's a really good way of like looking at life and, you know, just trying to move forward with things, really. But.
And one thing I wanted to ask you was yours and Matt's dynamic. Because
sound like a couple, don't I? I've said his name about 100 times in this. He's not even here. Stuff him. It's my podcast.
I found it Ben Mark Smith's night. What's that called again?
Songwriter sessions.
The songwriter sessions. Awesome night. When you two were on, it was just such a lovely vibe you bring across. You're such a good friendship as well. You have a laugh together. Yeah. You've got a nice vibe on there. Like, is that all for sure? No. I
we
know
hate
your
each other. We don't talk
but,
outside.
With the music and everything like that, how do you work it together? How do you...
I don't know. Like, Matt is my best mate and has been since we were like sort of 15, 16 and we started doing it. he's just sounded like my whole family know Matt as Nice Matt. That's kind of his name. Like,
Nice
everyone
Matt.
just calls him Nice Matt. He's just a nice guy. Just nice, not great,
Really,
nice.
Yeah. Nice is a nice benchmark to be at, innit?
But I think like when you play music with people or do anything arty with people for that matter, like you see a bit of different side to their personality in like the best way. I think you get to know them on a bit of a deeper level. And because my friendship with Matt's mainly always been like music based, like we do all our other stuff as well, like as mates. But I don't know, like it just feels like the most natural thing in the world, like getting on stage with Matt and just playing. You know what I mean? Because it's just what we do. Like it's part of our friendship. You know what I mean?
That song, the last one you played.
Yeah, Footprints.
That's
deep
that's
into it.
powerful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Is that out anywhere yet?
Yeah, that's our last single we did a while ago. It's got
Where
a cool
can I
video
get
as
that?
well.
Just
It's
'cause
on Spotify,
I need
YouTube, and everything. Footprints.
Footprints. That
Proud
is
of that one.
such a powerful song.
Yeah.
I took a minute on that one. I was genuinely do you know where you're really holding it in?
Yeah.
Like it was down here and then it built here and it was in my chest.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, don't cry, Mike.
That's
You
cool,
like
man. I
not
think
here.
it's the nice thing we've done because I think we make the mistake because we don't treat videos too seriously a lot of the time, and we have some stupid videos of us in like novelty exercise, and some of our songs used to be quite jokey in that. And I think it was quite a shock for a lot of people that we had like this really serious song that Matt wrote, and it's an amazing song. Like I can't take too much credit for it. Like we arranged it together and stuff, but Matt's lyrics, Matt's song, and when we played that, the amount of people that aren't normally into our stuff or necessarily like listen to a lot of music that have said like that song means a lot to me. Like I really like it. Like it's
There's
cool.
no
Proud of
better
that
feeling
one.
than that,
Yeah.
is there? When people, I love that compliment artists get, and a lot of my friends have had it where it's like, I don't really like that style, or I don't like this, but that thing you
I'm
did
into
was
that,
just
yeah.
perfect,
It's
and
cool.
that was everything to me.
I had that last night at a gig really bad. Like Ben Smith has a new song, and it's like it's beautiful. And honestly, it's choking me up. And I'm like, Ben, do not cry in public. Stop trying to cry. But I was close. Like it's a really nice song.
Are you quite in the Derby scene then, would you say? Because do you know how we met at that gig and we both, it's lovely to see the evolutions of us.
Yeah.
I didn't really see you much again after that, to be fair.
It's
Where have you been, man?
Well, I don't know. Where have I been? I think I don't think we really belong to like any scene as such. I think a lot of the people we know, I think so many people gravitate towards Nottingham now, which is like for good reason. Like it's an amazing city.
I did
such
a
cool scene.
podcast on here the other day for somebody else's podcast. His name's Billy Reynolds. Again, another guy I met like 5 years ago in the Maze.
Yeah.
And not seen him again since. But he's even said, "Oh, I'm going back now. It feels like right time." And Nottingham just feels so vibey at the minute, man. We were just talking
Definitely,
about it on his
There's some amazing
podcast.
gigs, there's amazing venues, there's like amazing studios, like everything's just good there. And I always feel a bit bad for Derby because I'm from Derby and I've done a lot of my music and stuff in Derby and like building a new little space in Derby and stuff. But I kind of find it a bit more holistic. Like I speak to a lot of people in the Nottingham music scene and they're like, "Oh, I'm from Long Eaton or I'm from Ripley or I'm from Derby." Like everyone, you go to that hub. But I think there's a lot of creativity outside it, but that's just the best place it seems to gravitate at the minute for
Do you
me.
not think it's just so welcoming?
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere
like,
you go.
We couldn't believe it. Like the first time we started playing gigs in Nottingham, we were like, "Oh my god, there's people here, like actual real life people, and they're clapping, like, and people
Just
are listening."
Seems like big music fans as well. They just are really there to enjoy what you're doing.
I think there's a few cities like that in the UK, but I think Nottingham is right up there, in my opinion.
Where else have you been that you've
I
experienced
think
that
like
sort
Manchester's really cool. I think Sheffield's pretty cool. Like, I mean, I've done a few gigs in London, but I couldn't really comment on the scene as
of...
such.
Have you done Bristol?
Not done Bristol, but I've heard Bristol's really cool as well.
For my scene, like
Yeah.
the poetry and things, it seems really nice. The gigs I've been to, I was like, oh wow, everyone really is into
It's
this.
just inspiring going to places like that. But I would say if you're not from like that scene, like don't let it put you off because we've always like been in a bit of a small town and it's been a bit strange. But you gravitate towards them places and people are welcoming. If you're nice and you're supportive, you can soon get into a music scene in a big city and shouldn't put you off being from somewhere else necessarily. You don't have to be like born and bred in Nottingham to enjoy the Nottingham music scene or anywhere else.
And I do just think like a lot of people brand scenes from their experiences.
Yeah.
And really they just mean I've had a bad gig somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Which happens a lot. And it might be the promoter, it might be the audience, it might be whatever it was, but they just go, oh, London's a bad gig.
Yeah,
London. And sometimes I've had bad gigs in London, to be honest. And I did, what my big mistake was, I make quite long poems because I love story. And it was quite early on in my journey, and I did this one. It's called Life's Beautiful Game, and it's about football and family. But it was in a time where my granddad had discovered like a cancer, and I pretty much just in my head decided, oh, that's it then. I wrote him off quite early on. Just a little side note, he's still around, you know, like he's done all right from
good.
it. So everywhere I go at the schools, he's like, are you going to perform that poem where you kill me off again?
Yeah. Amazing.
it was a big therapy time for me. So I wrote all day one day, and just it took the full day, but I had exactly what I wanted to say out of it, and I was felt really healed in that moment. So I just kept the poem as was. Well, I didn't want to like edit it too much and do all these refining bits. I was like, nah, that's exactly what I needed to say for my family. Turn that into a film, learnt it all. It's in my head. I'm so excited. And I go and I'm performing it in Nottingham, all these places, and have people, some crying or really nice responses.
Yeah.
And I took it to London, and I didn't realise, but you're on a time frame in some of the gigs in London. And I started performing this poem, and I just see the promoter after like 2.5 minutes. I'm like, this is a 10-minute song, like poem, and is literally like doing that sign, you know, with your neck where you're like, stop, stop, stop. And I'm like, I've got nowhere in it. And then I just come off and I was all deflated. And I had that attitude for a bit. I was like, oh, London.
Yeah.
But no, to be honest, just like I needed to think about that gig, where I was, what they were after. And I should have spoke about that really beforehand. I wasn't a headline slot, so I shouldn't be demanding long slots and things. But yeah, that was a time for me where I was like, oh, London's a bad gig. But no, it's not really
it's more
that.
like the people as well, more than the location. Like I went to another Ben Smith, sound like a Ben Smith fan club.
Yeah, we do like old Ben Smith over here
bloody
today.
Ben Smith, he's an umpty. But yeah, he did like he's doing this little tour at the minute around micro pubs. We went to like Hina, which isn't necessarily a place you'd think of for a gig. Him, Jake Burns, and I forget his name, the guy at Reflector. They're all awesome. They didn't have a PA and they just played, and it was like probably like 10 locals and then a few of us, and it was like an amazing vibe. Like, so you know, it's not necessarily a place you'd think like, oh, a gig there, but if you have the right attitude and you go and do these
And
things,
it only needs to be 10 people.
it was amazing. It was one of the best gigs I've been to in ages. Like they had some very strong ale, which was good.
That helps.
Yeah, which we learned the error of our ways last night. But yeah, man, like I think you can get a good gig anywhere, really. I quite like being from Derby in a weird way because you know you got a bit of a chip on your shoulder.
We're the
like,
underdogs as well,
yeah,
aren't
that's
we?
it.
Yeah,
I support Derby County as well. It's the one thing about Nottingham I can't get on board with is the football team. But you know, again, it's just banter, isn't it? Like, you know.
I do love that banter because the Nottingham Derby thing, like.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter if you hate football, you're not
Yeah,
bothered
yeah.
about it or anything. Everyone still goes, oh, Derby,
Yeah,
shoot
exactly.
Derby,
Yeah,
shit. You're just like, you get involved with it, but it means nothing to me
Yeah.
as well. And God, because I used to play a lot of, I know you play football as well, and like the people that will live and die for that as
I'm
well.
not that vibe. I think it's the best thing when you meet a rival fan in football, and if you're like all this hooligan stuff and just that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like you meet like one Forest fan, you have an amazing time just taking the mick out of each other. Like it's friendly, isn't it? It's sort of it sets you apart, but it binds you in something that's quite unique, I think. And I remember we were on holiday in like Amsterdam, and we found one bar that was showing the Derby match, and there was like this little club that had moved out of some like Brits over there, and there was like 7 of them, and they were called like the Amsterdam Rams, and there was one Forest fan in there, and like you'd think that'd be bad, but like it was amazing. Like they were making him sing songs like by himself, and then like these 10 blokes does like sing a song back at him, and yeah, it's just good, man. It's funny.
When I was living in South Africa, I was working on a sanctuary, and then we had like round the back was a little bar that you go to. It had a cool little pool, nice place, and I was friends with a West Ham fan. I was a massive fan, and we used to go around watch the football, and there'd be about 7 of us go down, and it was the most amazing experience. So I just decided I was going to be a Derby supporter because I just wanted that feeling that he got to be my little Saturday thing as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I really like Derby now.
Yeah.
So we go down, and when Derby were on, we get I think they had a dodgy box over there, so we could get anything on. And we'd be watching Derby, and they'd be swinging me up in the air. They'd be like, come on, Derby. And when they scored, we'd jump in the pool, go mental. And I was like, I can really see the appeal in this. I've never really supported a team like that, and I had a year there of just supporting Derby for that one reason of feeling that vibe.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Absolutely, man.
So have you got any festivals and things like that coming up?
I'd love to say we do for TFAS, but we're not. We've been really lazy. The problem is...
Have you just changed the name in this podcast?
I'll just call it TFAS. I should just change it, shouldn't I? I should get in touch with the lads and change it. But we need to like record and stuff and get stuff out there, and we've got loads of awesome songs that Matt's written and stuff, and we just need to get on it. Like we always say every year, like this year we're going to get on loads of festivals, and we just need to get on with it. Really, we're too busy doing all our other creative stuff as well. It's hard finding the time sometimes, isn't it, to do your own little project.
100%, man. You are always, and you seem someone in particular that's always doing stuff for everybody else. So to find that balance must be quite a tricky thing.
I love doing that stuff as well, but I do. It's tough because you treat it like that thing gets sacrificed sometimes, even though it's really important to you, just because you're trying to do all the other stuff and keep it happy.
Does it ever make you resent them projects at all, or do you?
I don't think so, to be honest. Like, I think we might benefit if we had someone else in the band who drove it a bit more, because like me, Rob, and Matt, who are like the main members of the band and stuff, we have a couple of other drummers play for as well, like our old drummer Max and stuff. When Rob can't make it, we're all in creative industries and stuff, and we all like are really passionate about them, and you pursue them, and you know what it's like there's not enough hours in the day literally to do everything you want to do. But I would say everything we work on and that we put out, we are really proud of, which is like the main thing. So we just need to plod on with it more, really, and get it out there.
So what are the next steps for you then? Ben Marshall tour? Like,
Ben Marshall production.
Where are you at? What are you going to be? Are you more into that? Just call it mixing and mastering.
Yeah.
It's an audio technician, isn't it?
I guess so. I don't know what to call myself. It's always a bit weird. You can be like,
you're a creative.
Yeah, you can be like a
yourself
sound
that.
engineer or a producer, whatever that means, or like I don't know, you can be called anything. But for me at the minute, like I'm building my own little mix space.
Yep.
So I work out of a little space in Derby at the minute, which is wicked, but it's not the most flexible. That's like where we shoot all the pin-up stuff. So at the minute, I'm building something, another little industrial unit to have as like my main sort of mix recording space and that. And just trying to. That's why I'm in awful builder's scruffs today. I've taken an hour or so out to do this podcast.
Ben changed his top over, but he had like when he come out the car today.
You're a fan
hold
of this
it up
jumper,
for
aren't
the.
you? This is my dad's like jumper from like the 90s, and it is wicked.
He came out with a beautiful purple Reebok jumper
it's
on, and
nice
I was
and
so
baggy.
excited. Then I got up close to him, and he goes all dirty, and I was
it's
like,
covered in
"Mate,
wood."
I would have died for that jumper. That's like my style all over, and it was
It is
covered in
cool. I
wood.
should take care of it.
I was ready to tell you off, mate. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was like, right, get home, wash that, and get that.
It'll come good.
Or hang
It's
it up
been my dad's
somewhere.
DIY jumper for years, and
Okay.
now I've just stolen it to
It's
DIY.
got a nice
so-
energy behind it.
Yeah,
then.
it's good. It's got some heritage.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm doing at the minute. Like I'm very deep in trying to build things and being bad at them, but you got to get stuck
And I
in,
must
haven't you?
say, like, you doing that space up, I need to say this to you because I don't think I've seen you since we went for that little date out together.
Yeah, our little bus journey.
Where me and Ben, we've got the bus, the Elf on Bus thing. You're doing similar things with the pin-up sessions, the audio stuff. We've got Matt on the film. I do a bit of film. We really want to create this hub. Like, that's what we've got. So me and Ben went out for a little date night. We went out and checked this double-decker. The guy rang me up yesterday, actually. I don't know if I told you that, but he's holding it for us.
Right.
And me, Chrissy, my team, your team, we know we really want to collaborate with you. We want to work with you because you've got the attitudes we're about, you've got everything like that. The only thing that held us up, and I know you've told you this, but I just wanted to be full up, and it's on the podcast now as well.
It's out
but
there.
It's literally, it was just the wedding. I was told building this, my first idea of having the Elf on Bus was, I just wanted a studio space because the reason behind that was just sick of like drunk musicians coming over to my house. Like, honestly, you know you are when I say this, but 3 a.m, they come over at 3 a.m, knock on the
recording.
door,
Flipping
and they're
heck.
just like, "Bro, are you in? Like, I want to do them vocals." I think they were just drunk out of their minds and like, do you know when you get really passionate, like, I'm a musician, I'm gonna do this. They come and just be like, and I'm more a person that's like, come on, get it in. Chrissy, I'm just go downstairs, put everything on for him. I was like, no, I need to get a little space for this. So we first looked at people might know this story, but like Wendy homes, things like that. And then the farm was like, we weren't sure if we were going to be staying, to be honest. So like, what we're going to do if I buy a 20 grand Wendy home, then
That's some Wendy home.
yeah,
that,
do you know what? There's a lot for about that.
Wow.
For what we wanted to do, it would have been made sense to get a big one,
Yeah.
proper like concrete the floor and that. So that was a big idea. And then when we didn't know if we were staying or not, I was like, right, what we're going to do? So me and Chrissy one night watched Netflix, and we just typed in this. Have you heard of the tiny house movement?
No.
It's just these
You told me
fascinating
about that. I need
houses
to watch
and
that,
stuff,
yeah.
but it's so cool, man. And they're doing it on boats, they're doing it on X, Y, and Z, and we're like, oh my god, that people are living on that. And we
Yeah.
saw a bus and things like that. So pretty quickly after that, I was like, right, how do I get a bus?
Yeah.
So we got these. Well, I'll just go back a little bit in the story. I went to this place looking for a double decker. I got there, and well, like we'd been to see, the roofs were scaring me because it was like so low on the top, and I was like, I've got tall mates, that might not work. But then eventually we saw this bus, and it like just sent like a perfect height, perfect space, all that.
It's amazing, man.
But then we got them, so we got two, because I was like, okay, one studio space, one little chill out space, done. When we put the first gig on, and then when I had this busking session ready and people coming, I was like, what we're going to do, where we're going to put people afterwards, where we need to have a drink and that. So we turned that into a bar, and then this slowly came a performance space. And I was like, I've not got the studio that I was after the original thing, so that didn't come to be. So then me and you went looking for that thing. The only thing stopping us at the minute is, I hope you watch this as well. Yeah. My sister's wedding.
Selfish love and marriage.
So honestly, mate, I really hope you are on board with the Old Farm Bus.
Yeah, man,
excuse the pun. But I really, honestly, please keep us in mind. Please, like, any projects you've got going on, ideas. We want to do workshops, want to help like the young people around here.
I think it'd be amazing, man. I love
we
what
have
you're
to
doing
we
here.
have to genuinely make this happen, because the thing that I love most about you are a doer, and you say something and you do it, and it's such a fascinating thing to see. And there's a very small amount of people that do that go forward with their things. So that's so important to me. I want to work with that. I suppose I'm coming to a conclusion here just because I've got somewhere to be today, but. Just think you're an amazing person. So will you promise to keep on board with
Absolutely,
us?
man.
We'll keep on board with you.
I want to do some recording on a bus. It'd be mint.
I promise.
We got very fascinated when we
Should
went
we
to
do
look at
another
double deckers, didn't
handshake? You're going to be doing a busking session for us.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
We're having you.
Secondary handshake.
It's happening. Ben, you're an amazing person.
Bless you, man. You too.
You're going to keep on doing the good shit that you do.
I try my best.
You're going to keep on
fighting
doing
the good fight.
Yeah, and you're going to get that Reebok jumper nice and clean.
Get it
for
washed.
next time you're on
Next
here.
time I see you, I will not come back with that messy. I've got another purple jumper, but it's not vintage, mate. I don't think you dig it.
I'm not even. I just need to say this. I've been searching for like purple jumpers for ages.
I bought another
man.
purple jumper, but what I might do, I might make that my nice one and swap out the other one. You know what I mean?
Just had an invoice
Tackling
through
the big
today,
issues.
and I've got a few outgoing. I think I still owe you some money somewhere, but I'm gonna pay you.
No
up,
mixes until you pay out money, mate. No more purple jumper.
But I'm gonna get one jumper. I've definitely, and I think it might look like that. I'm not buying that one though.
Yeah, not for sale.
Genuinely, mate. Thank you so much for being on
Nice one, man. Pleasure.
the Back of the Bus podcast. That's what we're going to call this. The back of it. You've heard it here first. This is a very first raw version of a podcast, and I can't wait to have you on again. People doing loads of things with you, man. Thank you so much.
You take care, dude. Cheers, Mikey.
High fives.
If we can reach.
That's how.
Can't reach.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Sound.
Peace and love, guys.